Oh, I mean, they have big ex-boyfriend energy.
Because doesn't he say, call me again and I'll kill you?
And the kids found out, and now we gotta put labels on it, and now I won't answer the phone. Hello, and welcome to Saving People Queering Things, the supernatural podcast where we get to say penultimate again, and we decided to wait 2 weeks so far for me to be able to watch the season finale. So love that cliffhanger.
Noah's feeling really great about the cliffhanger at the end of this episode.
Yeah. He's not bitter at all.
It ends in such a brutal, hurtful way, leaving the brothers at odds and Dean in his dad's shoes. Not okay. Not okay.
So today we're pulling up to season 4 with episode 21, When the Levee Breaks.
My name is August and my pronouns are they, them.
I'm Elayna. My pronouns are she, they.
And I'm Sam. My pronouns are she, her.
I'm Noah. My pronouns are he, him. And today we've got so much to talk about, but at the end we'll talk about our little giveaway. So, stick around for that. But now that you've met your hosts, it's time to catch you up. If you haven't watched Supernatural recently, here's what you've missed on the road so far. First up, August is going to recap the show and the highlights. So, from season 1 all the way to now, what do we need to know? 30 seconds.
I'm gonna wing it today because I think that it's more fun if I don't look at episode recaps in advance and I don't prepare at all and I forget. In fact, I think it's more fun if I entirely forget that I'm gonna do this recap until we get to it.
3, 2, 1.
I think I'd actually have had a full-on panic if we had to immediately start me. Okay.
Noah, you're a chaos goblin and we love you for it.
I'll count you in whenever you're ready.
Okay. Sure. I'm not ready, but sure.
3, 2, 1, go.
So there are these two brothers, Sam and Dean, and they hunt monsters for a living because their mom died by a demon. And I'm losing the thread of the plot. Dean went to hell to save Sam. Now Dean's back, saved by an angel, but the angels are trying to stop Lucifer from rising from his cage. So demons are trying to break all these seals and did unsuccessfully. And Sam's drinking demon blood and things are getting really, really, really bad.
It's about to hit the fan.
Bam, you nailed it.
Fantastic.
Everything you needed to know.
Is generous.
I mean, at this point, we're at the penultimate episode of the season, and if you don't know what's happened so far, why are you here? But also, thanks for coming. Welcome.
Insult our listeners, not. That's why we do these recaps.
We love you guys.
Elayna is now going to recap today's episode, When the Levee Breaks. Are you ready, Elayna?
Okay. Count me in.
You're ready?
No, but yes.
Okay. Love this. 3, 2, 1, go.
So now that Dean has discovered that Sam is drinking the demon blood, he's in a panic room and he's having all these really sad hallucinations that make me want to fling myself into the sun. And Dean is being really emo because his brother is really sick and he doesn't know what to do. And Bobby's like, I don't know how we should handle this because I think that we might need to just let Sam do the thing. And Dean is like, no way. And then Dean basically tries to go get him and Sam is with Ruby and there's a really sad fight. And also Anna's here and there's rebelling and stuff and things happen.
Nice.
I completely lost it at the end there. I apologize.
Hey, you got the main stuff. Dean's decided that he'll work with Heaven. Big deal.
Yeah.
Big moment. Cass, something's up with Cass. He is.
This is the episode with the stare that lasts for an approximate 10 seasons. So
it
long.
Starts here and it never ends.
They just keep staring at each other after this point.
So now it's time for us to pick some music to accompany us on our journey. And here's what we have this week. Noah, do you want to start with your mixtape suggestion? No, you don't want to start with your mixtape suggestion. Elayna, do you want to start with your mixtape suggestion?
Sure do. Sure enough, I shall. So my mixtape suggestion for this week, as I often do, is a Johnny Cash song. This one is It's All Over. And just some of the lyrics in this song, like, I was on my way to you and I was worried. I was torn up and nervous because I knew that you'd be gone. It's a really, like, there's this part towards the end where it's like, stop your crying and turn around and let her go. So he's like, ooh. It just very much embodies, I think, the tension between the boys in this episode. And it's Johnny Cash, who is just like supernatural energy all the time. So that's my pick.
Nice. Sam?
My pick is Monster by Skillet. I thought that was fitting. It talks
Love
about
it.
like the like inner monster not being able to escape, and
The secret side.
yeah.
Very Sam coded this episode, this mixtape.
Yeah.
My song is going to be "The Curse" by Angus O'Bell. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But it's also talking about the curse and the hunger. A couple lines. The curse ruled from the underground down by the shore, and their hope grew with the hunger to live unlike before. Talking, very haunting sort of song about this kind of curse, and that's I think very much where Sam is at. We're going to talk about that a whole lot, but that felt fitting.
Damn.
Noah.
I went with The War I'm Scared to Face by Whit Lowry and Livingston.
Ooh.
A very haunting track about, it feels almost like a letter written to a younger version of your brother, your protector as a child. And it hits real hard, and it fits with how Sam's handling with his hallucinations this episode.
Yeah.
This episode really is brutal. But now that we have our mixtape playing, it is time for the hunt of the week. And today's episode, as we said, is When the Levee Breaks, through the theme of victory, which feels tricky because no one wins this episode.
That's why this theme
No
is
winning.
super interesting. But before we start with this episode, I do want to give a content warning. Given the events of this episode, we will be talking about Sam's experience with demon blood. There will be some lenses of addiction and withdrawal based on the events of this episode and kind of the natural things we can kind of draw out of that. So please take care of yourself as you listen. If this is the conversation for you, we'd be happy to have you back at the end of the episode or next week. We will be attempting to have this conversation as much care as we can. Obviously, this is none of us are experts in this area, but we're gonna talk about some of this stuff. So just wanted to give that little warning before we jump into the episode. But starting with Noah, what did you think of this episode on a first time watch?
This episode just hurts. It's just painful in so many different ways. And having to hear Sam screaming for his brother all episode, and then having to see Dean's
All
reaction
episode.
to it. It was
rough.
Yeah, it's heavy. And Bobby and Dean's conversation behind the scenes is so caring and gorgeously done by the two of them.
And yet also so like indicative of like how little they know what to do with this. Like, Bobby makes a joke about it. He goes, like, oh, let me just look it up in my demon
detox
manual.
Demon detox manual. Oh, wait, no one ever wrote one.
Yeah, which is like sort of a humorous way of them kind of deflecting the fact that they don't handle this very well because they have no idea how to.
And they're scared.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what to
Terrified.
do.
There's a great conflict going on, I think, between Dean and Bobby's approaches because, Bobby is trying to look at this from this more objective standpoint of like, maybe we have to let him do the thing we don't want to let him do because that's what's going to stop the apocalypse. But Dean is coming at it sheerly from like, I don't care about the apocalypse. This is my brother we're talking about. And I would rather like that line where he's just like, at least he dies human. Like, oh my God, just rip my heart out.
Makes me think back to the end of season 2 where, like also a conversation between Dean and Bobby after Sam's killed and, the whole when Dean goes like, let it end, like that whole idea of like, I don't want a world where I don't care about a world where I've lost my brother. And then in this instance, like, I don't care about an apocalypse if it means
Putting Sam at risk.
Yeah, if it means Sam becomes not Sam.
But it almost becomes a turn because in that episode, he's like, I don't want to live in a world where my brother isn't. And in this, he's like, I'll live in a world that my brother isn't if it means that he dies as my brother.
Yeah.
And that's the part that is just so gut-wrenching.
Mm-hmm. He's more scared of Sam not being Sam anymore.
Yeah, because you think about, again, going back to season 2, like, so there's so many payoffs towards the end of season 4 that are related to season 2. And I think one of them is like, that whole him promising John that, he would have to save him or kill him. He's at a point where he's like, saving him is the most important thing, even if that means killing him. And I think that that's really rough for him to try and reason through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think we've been leading up to that all season, you know, like they've had so many fights and so many conversations about the choice between like the pragmatic choice of like, if Sam can stop Lilith, we should let Sam stop Lilith. And the like moral question, or the like question of, you know, what will Sam turn into? What will Sam have to become to be capable of killing Lilith?
I think this seems to be like a pattern with the brothers, is when it's them, they're very willing to sacrifice whatever to save the world, but the brother is always like no and wants to save. Like this instance, like Sam is like, let me just do it to kill Lilith and save the world. And Dean is like, no, I don't want to like have you turn into a monster and lose you. But when it's the other way around,
they would each sacrifice everything for their brother in a heartbeat, but would refuse to let the other sacrifice themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle.
Codependency.
Yeah.
That's really like, that's such a good point, Sam. And like, I had a note kind of related to that, about like related to the theme. There's almost like this denial of victory that's going on, where like Dean is saying like, you know, he has that line of, you know, you're taking a bench warmer seat to the apocalypse. And it's because Sam thinks that his method is the one that's going to get them victory. And Dean thinks that his is the one that's going to get them victory. And so they're just butting heads so much because they each have this perception of what is going to be the best outcome, and they can't agree on it. And it's like, it's really difficult because so many other times in the show, like they will have their differences and they will still find a way to work through it. And this is one of those first major instances of them not being able to find the common ground. And that's really hard to watch.
Yeah, neither of them are willing to give up their stance.
And like, I think also connected to that is Dean all season has been being told by the angels, like, you're the one that can stop it. And they're the angels. Like, you know, they're telling him, you can stop the apocalypse. We need you to stop the apocalypse. Like, God has plans for you. God has plans for you. And on the flip side, Sam is going, I'm the only one strong enough to actually stop the apocalypse, but I have to go into demonic things to do that.
And he's also being told by Ruby and by the demons that he's the only one that can do it.
Yeah, the manipulation that's happening from both heaven and hell really comes to a head here.
And it's just put them on this like opposite thing where they think
they're pitting the brothers against each other
really effectively too.
It's interesting to think about, because if you look at it from their perspective, if the demons are saying Sam is the one to do it, and the angels are saying Dean's the one to do it, but the angels are also very skeptical and scared of Sam and what he can do. So I don't know.
Yeah, notable that like angels like Uriel have said, you know, like, get in our way or we'll like wipe you out. But nobody's actually really tried to take a swing at Sam.
No.
Which is a very interesting thing. And like the demons, obviously, as a whole, you know, they're on Lucifer's side. It's primarily Ruby that's telling Sam, you're strong enough to stop Lucifer from rising. Because obviously, like, they're trying to work towards like the same goal of like stopping the seals from breaking, stopping Lucifer from rising. But their opposite means is why they're in this situation now. I was gonna pivot us a little to talk about Sam's experience in Bobby's panic room, because that's obviously like a huge piece of this episode aside from the plot, and I think we need to talk about what that experience is like for Sam.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like the one line of everything that happens in the panic room, for me, the part that always breaks me the most is when his hallucination of Dean is talking to him, and he's like standing at the foot of the bed, and he says to him the whole, like, you know, Sam's like trying to argue, well, I'm doing this for revenge because of what she did to you. And when the hallucination goes, did you happen to notice I'm back? That is like one of the most heartbreaking lines of this whole episode for me, because I think that is, every time I watch it, I have to remember that this isn't actually Dean saying it, because that to me sounds like the thing that Dean would actually say. And I think that moment is like a huge thing for Sam to, like, for his own subconsciousness to be acknowledging that he's been ignoring the fact that his brother has been back and has been there this whole time. And I think that's one of those like kind of chink in the armor sort of moments where Sam's subconscious knows that this is this is wrong, but he just can't bring himself to really see it. And then the way that conversation then goes with the whole Dean, hallucination Dean thinking he's a monster, it just,
it's Sam, like both actual truth about Dean is, and who he knows his brother to be and what he knows their relationship to be is coming out, but also all this other stuff is coming out where Sam's brain in the throes of this like withdrawal and is conjuring all of these like all of his own inner demons, like everything
all of his fears,
everything he's ever been afraid of about himself and his identity, every nasty thing that any demon or John or anyone has ever said to him is just coming back to him, and it's coming back to him in the form of like Mary and Dean, and there's truth there.
His little Sam conversation. Oh my god, when he's talking about you got out, you made it away from dad, like
yeah. The line where he's like, I thought we were supposed to be normal.
And the whole they had
all he's ever wanted.
And they talk like they, and Sam asks like his younger self, he's like, what do you want? And young Sam is like, I want an explanation, like, how could you do this to me? And that is like one of the worst lines in this, like Sam's looking at his younger self, and his younger self is asking him like, how could you put us in this position? And the tragedy of it being that like Sam has not, for the most part, Sam has not put him, like Sam is in this position because when he was 6 months old, a demon bled into his mouth and then tried to kidnap him for a demon army and gave him powers. And then his brother died. And then, his only friend was a demon, and then
manipulated his ass 10 ways from Sunday.
Because Sam has made choices, but also Sam has had so few options, and so many of the things that he has gone through have had nothing to do with him. And when we think about like the like addiction piece here, like I just have so much sympathy for Sam, because he is not here because he is weak in any way.
No, but he feels like he is.
Yeah, and he even says that to his younger self. He's like, we were never gonna get away. We were never gonna.
Yeah,
it was not. He recognizes now that like he was never gonna be able to be normal, no matter how hard he tried or wanted it.
Yeah,
that it's not
up to him.
Yeah, like August said, like he made choices, but
so many of those choices were like it wasn't bad options.
Yeah. And I think it's really important and powerful to point out that when it comes to things like this addiction that he's developed, it's not his fault.
It's not.
Any time that you find that someone is dealing with addiction in their life, it's not because they're a weak person or because they've, maybe they've made some choices that are a little regrettable, but it always comes down to external factors and how they've impacted that person. And does that person have the access to the resources to work through that, or do they not? And in Sam's case, he was left without his brother in a vulnerable place, in a vulnerable state, and he had to turn to who he had, which was Ruby. And so it's really, I gotta give props to where they're due for the Supernatural writers, because for as much as they get wrong, I think the way that they approach that is done very well.
And the fact that Sam feels so trapped and doesn't feel like there are any good options, and feels like he says at one point, he's like, I'm not taking the demon blood for kicks. Like this is not just about how it makes me feel. This is because I feel like this is the only way to stop Lilith and stop the apocalypse. And like that's a huge weight for Sam to be carrying, that is contributing to like the fact that yes, he feels powerful, yes, he feels capable, and yes, he feels, I think, like he can redeem himself a little bit if he stops Lilith and stops Lucifer from rising. But it's like all tied up in like the experience of the demon blood for him. And it's, he doesn't feel like he has any good option.
Heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent portrayal by Jared. He kills it.
He knocks it out of the park, this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he really does take that. Like, you can really see the inner torment.
Yeah, he has to do a lot of showing the isolation and showing the despair and showing the physical distress of this withdrawal.
Yeah.
Like how much it's wrecking his body and his mind.
How jittery he gets.
Mm-hmm. On that note, a list of better options than locking someone in isolation.
Oh my God.
Like Bobby says, they don't know what to do, and they don't know how, and Sam is incredibly strong when he's on the demon blood, and they don't have any other places to put him. At the same time, there is there's just so many things that I think they don't think of doing to ease some of Sam's distress.
I feel
Yeah.
like there's got to be at least one hunter out there who's certified in psychotherapy of some sort that could come and help and be like,
I think
let's
I think
next to him and
talk with
to
him.
I
Yeah.
was just gonna say, I think the isolation piece was definitely the piece they could have done better,
Yeah.
because the room is like,
So intimidating.
because he's so strong,
And maybe they feel
And-
really don't have any other ideas or options.
they don't have another room, like they don't have like a nice safe space,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like couches and whatever.
But where's the
But-
food or
That's
Yeah.
what I was
Or, like,
thinking too. Is like
blankets, or,
you're
like-
just gonna leave him and not
Maybe an IV.
help?
Like, I don't know, something.
Yeah.
Like, because they can't do anything about the physical withdrawal things and the hallucinations.
because they don't know
and
anything
whatever.
about what withdrawal from demon blood specifically will do.
No.
Yeah.
So like everything that his body is going through, they don't know what to do and they can't do anything. But his emotional torment, they could sit with him, talk to him,
Like
be
don't leave
there.
him by
Like, don't just
the entire time.
ignore him for days or however long it was.
It's,
Give
yeah.
bro a TV or something. Jesus.
Yeah, it just seems like and I think that's like my biggest thing this episode is like I love Dean and Bobby and they are genuinely trying their best in a really, really impossible situation.
They're panicked for sure.
Yeah, and so
They're
they're making some like they're trying to do like they're looking really big picture at like how do we like take care of Sam through this. But I wish that they also had looked at the little picture, like and like when we think about addiction and like any kind of addiction, like so much of the research and like shows that like isolation, like community is a huge factor in protectiveness and
Mhm.
relationship, and isolation is just one of the most dangerous things that you can do for someone who is experiencing
Yes.
this kind of thing.
Because what occurs to me is like just now they could have totally, if it was a fear that Sam could do something that might hurt them because of how extra powerful he is, have Cass wait in there with him. He's a freaking angel. Like I think he'd be able to
They can't
handle
get a hold
it.
of
You know?
Cass early in this episode though, can they?
Yeah, Cass is kind of being a
Oh,
sneaky
that's
little.
true.
And I don't think Dean fully trusts him right now.
No,
Mhm.
because what
That's
does he
fair.
do when he shows up to Sam's place? Lets him out.
That's also
Yeah.
but
True.
I
That's
get
very true.
but I do agree with that, like
Yeah.
Elayna, that would have been like something to consider.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like is there a way to make sure that he is safe? And also until like that happens, like Sam is not violent. Sam is not showing signs of being violent. Like he's angry, but he's not until later on showing those like really dangerous signs. He's just looking for, I think, some compassion and some like understanding and someone to not just like unilaterally make decisions about his health.
Shove him in a hole and move on.
I think you see that Dean and Bobby are scared, but Dean is also angry. So there's not a lot of softness coming
Yeah.
from Dean. And I think we see a little bit of softness coming from Bobby
Dean feels
in
really
the choice,
betrayed by
but
Sam's
Dean is
choices.
like even when you see Dean like going in and being like when Sam's handcuffed to the bed and being like, oh well, we had to for your own safety. There's not a lot of soft compassion, care
Mhm.
in the way that Dean interacts with him,
Mhm.
because he's scared, he wants to do this for Sam's safety and he wants to save him,
Yeah.
but he's also angry and you
Yeah.
can see that.
And it's like I also get the piece of like they're using the panic room not only to, I think, keep Sam in, but also to keep demons out, because
Mhm.
Absolutely.
demons, like he can't, like if he gets near a demon, he's screwed right now. And so like
Oh,
that's the one place they know that if they keep him in there, then demons won't be able to get in. And so it's like I get that piece, but it's the leaving him alone
Yeah.
that, like you're saying, is just so heartbreaking to watch, because once he's in there by himself, like all he's got are the hallucinations.
And he doesn't have anyone to counter the ideas of himself that he's being faced with. Like he has no one to counter that but himself, and he doesn't have the ability to counter those ideas because his mind is he just feels really, really powerless.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, I know this is a very different situation, but like when it comes to that scene, those scenes of him talking to himself and having those hallucinations reminds me a lot about like what it feels like when you're dealing with anxiety and what you're talking, like when you're dealing with depression. When it's just you and you don't have someone to counter those thoughts, it becomes this really toxic trapped spiral, as opposed to like if I'm feeling really depressed or something and I have a friend that I can text who can, give me a call and who can help walk me through it. Like he doesn't have any of those resources available to him. And so all he's left with is his own sadness. And that's what just makes it so much worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he conjures, like his brain conjures all of the important people in his life. Notably, doesn't conjure John,
Nope.
conjures his younger self, Mary and Dean, and Alistair, but like Mary and Dean and his younger self. And Mary specifically has always really been interesting to me because like he never had the chance to know Mary. So his entire perception of Mary is just based on stories because he was
And surprisingly not Jess.
Yeah.
He does mention her though.
Yeah.
He
when talking
mentions
to
her, but
young
we don't
Sam.
see her.
No.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks volumes as to where he's at right now.
He's very in the hunter world. Like
Mhm.
he doesn't, I feel like Jess to him is not, I don't want to say not relevant, but like
But he's accepted that she's gone.
he's just gone.
Yeah.
But Mary is still this lingering mystery to him from his childhood that he never really got to know.
He didn't get any closure with Mary. I mean, he
No.
didn't get a lot of closure with Jess, but
No.
there's
But he doesn't even know. He
There's
didn't even
also,
know Mary.
like Dean knows Mary
And met her again.
and yeah, and so he has this connection that Sam never got.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
also true. Is like, yeah, because Dean went back in time. Like Dean also got to spend some time with.
And Sam knows that.
Yeah. So this perception, this hallucination is also influenced by Dean's trip to the past.
Mhm.
It's also interesting, like Mary, like that what Sam gleans from his hallucination of Mary is like she is the one that tells him like we're cursed, but you can use your power to turn that into good. Like she's affirming the choices that he's making
Mhm.
in a way
Which
that
is
he
interesting.
and his younger
So
self don't.
fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also
That the one figure he doesn't actually have any real life interaction with is the one that's confirming his own biases.
but I also think that's his subconscious just wanting a mom.
And wanting
Oh.
someone who can like, yeah, who can
Support
Right?
him.
Because that's what moms are supposed to do.
and want someone who can guide him, someone who can be like, no, you're not a bad person, even if
Yeah.
you've got this darkness in you. That can be a gift, not a curse.
It's a really great take.
Oh, that made me really sad.
Yeah.
Poor Sammy.
I feel like not to pivot, but I feel like we'd be remiss if we did not talk about Cass and his impact and Anna's impact and all
Yes,
that.
Yes.
we need to talk about
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Noah, thoughts?
Is Anna fucking dead? Because I swear to God, if she's fucking dead, I'm gonna be so mad.
She did not die. She did
Okay.
not die. She did not die.
She's
What we
gone.
watched was not her dying.
She's okay.
Because we've like seen angels. We've seen some. Have we seen
We've dead bodies of angels. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen. So we know
We've
what
seen
it
how
looks
they
like when
die.
an angel dies.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted
That
to
was
So
not her
that's
dying.
not what we saw.
thought it was a
No.
really intense dramatic execution
Valid question
off
though,
screen.
because you don't
and-
see it.
Yeah. Okay.
The white light.
But we did not see. Yeah.
She
So
was taken to go before God and answer for something, just like Cass did a little while ago. Is that why Cass is all different because he met God? Like he got his ass reamed out, but that's got to be what it
I mean,
was.
Cass is acting really.
He's
suspicious.
different. He's a little
He's-
sus.
Yeah, he's gone from like I'm rebelling to
Towing the company line.
yeah, in a very very short amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even like 3 episodes ago, Monster at the End of this book,
Huh.
he
Yeah.
was-
3 episodes ago, random choice to mention Chuck.
he was covertly
Nicely done, Noah. Nicely done.
he
Thank
was
you.
covert, but he was covertly in that episode. He was like, I can't, just so you know why I can't help you. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Let me give you some
Well,
information.
But with this episode, we're just coming off of the rapture.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he got his ass kicked for that.
Yeah. So he met God, and now Anna's being taken there, but not executed. I am glad, but it's coming.
Yeah. Also interesting, like Dean, when Cass first appears, Dean says, I've been screaming myself hoarse for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
This
Oof.
is Dean, I won't pray to anything, Winchester.
Yeah.
He has known Cass. We are in 21 episodes into this season.
Known Cass for a couple of months.
Screaming for him.
Yeah.
For 2.5 hours.
I
I think
There's
it
a sex
speaks for
joke there,
itself.
but I'm not gonna make it. But
Oh God. Noah. Noah. Sit down. How dare you?
We needed a moment of levity. This episode is
did.
very heavy.
When the Levity breaks. No, that was
Nope.
bad. That was bad.
Cutting that part.
Canceling-
That part's cut.
Canceling myself.
Also, this is just a little thing that I giggled at. When they're having their intense conversation, they're standing so close together.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
And they just stare at each other. They're
This
just
is
standing
the
there.
stare.
The gaze.
They're like, let's stand very close together and face off in this conversation about accepting our roles and
Yeah. A
what
lot
is
of tension. Very tense.
Yeah.
Giving yourself over wholly to you guys.
Yes.
Okay, but do you want to talk about how, because Dean is finally like, whatever, fuck it. He's like, okay, the angels say I can stop this from happening if I like give in.
Well, it's the fact that he says, if I do this, Sammy doesn't have to. And that's what gets me every time I watch this episode.
That's the only reason he's doing it.
It's the only reason he does anything.
Yeah.
But what Cass says is like he's getting Dean to swear, and he says, you swear to follow his word, God's word, as swiftly and obediently as you did your father's.
Oh
And
my God.
That gets me because Dean has been pushing
myself.
further and further away from John since John died. As obediently as you did your father's.
You can see it in his face too. He's like,
He knows what that means.
oh God. Yeah.
He's going to have to go back to a part of himself that he doesn't like for that.
Yeah, but he's pushed himself so far away from John that he's ended up quoting John.
Oh,
To Sam.
That too is he has that
That's
connection.
a good point.
oh.
That's how the episode ends. Is he tells him, if you walk out that door, don't you ever come back.
Oh no, not the Johnification of Dean Winchester.
Boy,
No.
boy, oh boy.
No.
Not all right.
Also,
Don't like it.
want to point out something important in that scene. The music that is playing over that scene is Dean's theme,
Ugh,
which
Dean's
is
theme.
a significant piece that shows up like every, maybe once or twice a season. It always means something really key about like Dean, and usually some sort of like shift in his character or his decisions, or something key about a shift in the relationships for him.
Dean's theme might be the most traumatizing piece of music I know.
It playing over, I've never noticed before until this watch that it was playing over that moment when he echoes John.
It's like, raise your hand if you've been victimized by Dean's theme. Like-
Every fucking time.
It hurt. It was not pleasant.
I do love, though, that he calls the angels shady politicians from Planet Vulcan.
Thank you.
That was my next
That's
bit.
important.
Shady politicians from Planet Vulcan.
Star Trek reference in the wild. Cass is Spock coded.
For sure. Dean is very Jim Kirk.
Oh my God.
So
oh,
Jim-
wow. Oh, they
Oh.
really are, aren't
Oh,
they?
have you never seen? Oh, I've thought about this
Oh,
connection.
yeah.
I could make a whole podcast about that connection.
Oh,
Those two being prototypes for Dean and Cass.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yes, Spurk is the blueprint.
Spurk is always the blueprint.
Spurk has been the blueprint.
In other funny things, Sam's advertising for Blundstone boots. He's wearing this very particular
I
boot.
noticed that too. I made note of that.
I point out this because it's at least here on the West Coast, they're really popular.
In Vancouver.
They're really popular boot here on the West Coast and here on the island, and on the West Coast in general, also like all down the coast, because they're a really great outdoor all-weather sort of boot. Now I'm advertising for them, but I'm pointing out also because a lot of gay people wear them.
Gay shoes.
Yeah, I don't have a point
That's
there
it.
other than Sam's Winchester is wearing
Day shoes.
gay Blundstone boots in those. That's it.
One of my favorite headcanons is that Sam is a non-binary lesbian. So
It's
I
a
accept
good
this.
canon, honestly.
Oh yeah.
We have a friend who's writing a rewrite of seasons 1, 2, and I'm not sure how far she's planning on going, but in it, Sam is a trans man, and it's a wonderful exploration of Sam's character. Anyway, I will
like
link
that.
I will link
We've
it.
talked a lot about trans Dean on this show, but we haven't talked a lot about trans Sam
Yeah,
theories.
it's-
But I support those theories.
Yeah, anyway, that fic it's a wonderful rewrite of Supernatural and the early seasons. In it, Dean kills John and then shows up at Sam's apartment and is like, "Dad's dead," but doesn't tell Sam that he's the one that killed John. Anyway,
Oh boy.
advertisement for KJ's wonderful fic, which I'll put the link in the episode description.
This is
and
KJ's fic? That's what KJ's fic is?
It's not finished yet, as of when we're recording this, but they are actively working on it and writing more. And I literally read it
Sounds
like
great.
the entire of 40K of what they've written last night because I got super into it. I do recommend. That is way off track, but I wanted to.
No.
I was thinking about it.
Trans Sam fic is never off topic.
I love it.
Facts.
The one other thing that I had in my notes that I thought I wanted us to talk about was Bobby and his
Always.
role in the episode.
I'll always talk about Bobby.
Noah's head just like shoots up.
He's just like, what?
Yes.
Pulled a shotgun on Sam, even though he knew there was not a single chance he would be able to pull that trigger.
No. of
And
course
Sam
not.
knew it. And I love
Sam knew
that
it.
Sam knew it. I love that Sam, even after everything, knows that there's no way Bobby will hurt him.
He's still scared of Dean later on, but he's not scared of Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually, I think, one of the best moments of Jared's acting this whole episode, because like it's obviously we've discussed it's very good. But for me, it's the moment when he looks sad when he knocks out Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's so mad at himself that he has to do it, but he knows it's the only way that he's gonna get away. And just the little like scrunching up that his face does. I'm just like, oh Jared, why have you done this? I can't believe you've done this.
Touching, especially
Yeah.
because Bobby is conflicted about that whole situation anyway. He's the one that is thinking maybe they're doing the wrong thing.
He's the one advocating for Sam, and Sam doesn't even know it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think Bobby could have won that fight, could have dodged that, could have tried to fight back, but he doesn't. And I think that's a choice for sure.
He wants Sam to know that he is more concerned with Sam than he is with anything else. Like, that's more important to him than
And that's
all the rest
always
of it.
been his role in the boys' lives too.
Yeah.
Is he's just there for them.
And Dean is not great at taking this advice. Dean tries. I do believe genuinely tries at the beginning of his conversation with Sam. But this advice that Bobby gives, where he says, finding Sam, that's got to be about getting him back, not pushing him away. And he acknowledges, he goes like, I know you're mad. Like, you have a right to be mad. He says, be good to him anyway. And I think that is really, I've always found that part really beautiful in the episode. Like, and a really beautiful reminder of like when people are going through things that maybe makes them act in ways that are not great. You might have a right to be mad, but be good to him anyway. Like,
I think that's Bobby's whole parenting philosophy in one sentence.
Feel what you feel, but be good to them anyway.
Yeah.
he's like,
Take care of our own.
like, you want to get him back, you can't push him away. Like, if you push him away, like, then you won't get through to him.
Yeah. I always find it really interesting, the contrast between Bobby and John and
Light versus dark.
or their care or lack of care for the boys.
Ugh.
I had a note in here of like when Sam says, you won't shoot me, Bobby, you won't do it. And I'm like, John would have.
Oh god.
100%. I believe John in that moment. I mean, John.
John would have shot him 2 seasons ago. This
John
wouldn't
was
even be an
already
issue.
with- This is true. You can't save your brother. You have to kill him. This would have absolutely been a moment where
a while ago.
John doesn't hesitate.
The scene, when Sam gets back up from sucking the demon blood, and John would have never let that happen.
And
For sure.
yeah, and Dean like comes into that scenario, like he finds where Sam is, he barges in, and he tries to go for the appeal to Sam before they start fighting.
Well, he starts fighting Ruby first. Then
That's true.
he starts going for the appeal. He's like, if I can kill her, get her out of the way right now.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
not
Kill
trying
the
to go
bitch and
Ruby.
we can go.
He's not trying to save Ruby, but he is trying to like get through to Sam. He's
Yeah.
trying to take Bobby's advice a little, and then obviously it goes very, very sideways very quickly, and he says things that set
Can't
them
take
on the
back.
path. Like, things he can't take back.
The fact that he actually says the thing that he
Oh my
said
god.
in Sam's worst fear hallucination is the part that really
Crushes.
destroys.
And they're both like all season, like this season has been one of Dean's hell trauma and Sam's addiction have been like contrasted. And that's like the thing that's like constantly pushing them apart, is like they're both of their particular traumas are like bumping up against each other. And it's so hard for them to see past any of those or to like understand what the other person's going through. And so they're just pushing further and further apart. And so like I think Dean repeating what John said is his like last ditch appeal to Sam to not go. So he's like, maybe if I say this, he won't leave. But what Sam hears is the same rejection that John gave. And so like they're like, Dean doesn't mean this, I think, the way that John meant it.
No, not
Like,
at all.
with John, it's a threat. I think with Dean, it's an appeal. But Sam hears it the same. And it's
Truly brutal.
gonna haunt their relationship, I think.
Yeah, damn.
This is a loaded fucking episode.
It sucks. Let's move on to the next one. Let's go. I want to watch it.
Is there anything else, Noah, particularly, or any other notes anyone else has about this episode?
Bobby is such a fucking dad. He pulled up the weather map to check on their trip just to make sure they would be good.
Yeah.
The little touch that Dean knows exactly how Sam's going to switch up his tactics, track him down is pretty great. I like that. There's some good sibling dynamic.
Such a sibling move of like, I know this is your normal. So if you are trying to not do your normal, you'll do this instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously not to this extent, but Hannah Beth has pulled some sort of like, well, I'm pretty sure you did this. And if I know you knew I knew that, you probably did. Yeah. Similar, but not to the same extent.
Same concept.
Same concept. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully nobody was drinking demon blood.
Can neither confirm nor deny. Speaking of demon blood, next up, we've got our Going Meta section where we are tracking lore, representation, behind the scenes trivia, and more. First up, rep check.
I love how you say that every week.
Obviously, some like great, some really good and some really hard and some really like mixed representation of like addiction and withdrawal. Some really humanizing representation, I think, but also some like warnings of like what not to do.
Yeah.
As someone
like,
supporting someone who's going through this.
Don't do this.
Do not lock them up and forget about them and starve them. Don't.
Yeah.
That's
Like
More
the way to
them-
treat people.
more
give them
care,
with
I
some
think.
sandwiches.
More care, more support.
Yes.
They're still a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not pleasant to watch my faves handle it like that.
Yeah.
Ruby and Mary are the only women in this episode.
Yeah.
Practice here.
Next time they'll do better. Next time they're dealing with the demon blood addiction, it'll be way smoother.
I mean, they can write the manual now, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well,
I wonder
I don't know.
if-
They didn't do it very successfully, so maybe they shouldn't be writing the manual. Actually, I don't want them to write the manual. Bobby can write the manual.
Yeah, speaking of Bobby, when Rufus is calling, he says Rufus is blowing up my phone like, oh God, I can't bother with that. Dean's like, what's up with Rufus? Bobby says, he knows. What's going on there? They've got some sort of argument, tiff, ex-boyfriends.
Oh, I mean, they have big ex-boyfriend
Big
energy.
ex-boyfriend energy. There's some petty squabble
Does he
type.
say, call me again and I'll kill you? Like,
So maybe it's a little more than
A squabble.
a squabble, but yeah, they have that energy.
no,
Old
it's a
married
squabble.
/ old divorce / we haven't defined the relationship and it's blowing up in our face now.
And the kids found out, and now we gotta put labels on it. And now I won't answer the phone. Smooth.
There's two women.
Two
they don't
women.
interact.
One of them's not even real.
One's a mother, one's a girlfriend. So yay for
And-
defying stereotypes, I guess. Not really.
And does Ruby
Anna.
Oh yeah, and Anna. So we have 3 named
Oh,
women.
Okay, we do.
None of them appear in the same scenes, and most of them don't get many lines. I think Anna's lines on her own would pass, but she's having them with a man, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Oh no, she's talking about Sam and Dean. Never mind, would
Yeah.
pass anyway. So yeah, no hard fail on the Bechdel right there.
Shocker.
Damn.
Shocker.
So get this. Was looking into the lore. And this episode we get the fun bit of how Lucifer tempted Lilith, a human, into becoming the first demon.
Which is
Which we
okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's a pretty cool little review.
Significant.
We knew already that humans become demons.
Yeah.
Can become demons.
We didn't
but
know
this is
who
First
set
one.
the template.
Yeah. Yeah, and exactly. That this was the first one and that Lucifer was the one to start doing that.
Yup. We also get a reference to the number of seals left. They say the final seals are breaking. How many are left? 3, 2? They don't really know.
Not
They're not
many.
sure, but it's not a lot.
I mean 66
Yeah, and we
seals out of
find out-
hundreds.
Yeah,
We
600
find out that
seals.
Lilith could break the last. Lilith is the one who can break the last seal.
Yeah, so they have to stop Lilith before doing that. But
Can they do it?
dun, dun, tune
Are
in
they
next
gonna
week.
do it? What's gonna
Two
happen?
brothers.
Noah doesn't know.
Lilith eats babies, right? That's the thing they're establishing with the
Yes.
maternity ward and that whole.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I thought we established that before, but couldn't quite.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that and then watched this episode and was like, ugh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
forget about that again.
We
Okay.
have established
Yeah.
it because they established it at the end of season 3
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of like a behind the scenes kind of fun fact is this is one of only 3 episodes of Supernatural that do not involve a death of any kind.
Oh.
So there are only 3 in
Oh.
327 episodes. There are only 3 episodes that do not involve a death of any kind. There are some other episodes where deaths are only referenced, but like this episode, like there are no deaths.
Nobody
the
dies.
other the other two episodes are 418, Monster at the End of This Book. So run just recently. There's 2 episodes this season, and then the third episode is actually one that's several seasons away. I'll point it out when we get there, but it's gonna be a while.
We definitely didn't mention it on 418.
Yeah, so mentioning it now, we had 2 episodes with no depth. Very
Damn.
interesting,
Jeez.
very rare.
That's crazy.
But so much happens in this episode that like is so.
They
is one of
talk
the,
Yeah.
to a lot
It's
of
kinda
other
hard.
dead characters.
Well, because you don't really have a typical monster of the week sort of
No.
thing or a cold open with
There's no
this
hunt in
episode.
this one.
No, the hunt is Sam.
Ooh.
Why'd you have to say that? Even if it's true.
Sorry.
Noah, I'm curious what your predictions are for the finale when we end up watching it. Now that we're on a cliffhanger.
It's going to hurt a little bit more. It's going to leave on a really bad cliffhanger, and the brothers are going to be more mad at each other. And I bet Dean quotes John some more. I swear to God, I hope there's a backflip.
What do you think is going to happen with the seals and like how is it going to come to a head?
So I feel like Lucifer is going to be a character in the show that interacts with multiple people. So I think Lucifer's going to get out. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
But mysterious
I
circumstances.
don't want Anna to die, but I feel like Anna's going to die. And I don't like the silence and the faces. So I feel like it's time to move on to blessings and then the end of the episode, and then we can move on to the next one. So
There we go.
everybody, let's hey, now look at that. It's time for our last and favorite part of the episode, our character blessings. Who do you guys want to bless this week?
Can I go first?
Of course.
I'm gonna bless Sam, boy. This episode sucks for Sam. I've said that. I feel like I've said that in a number of episodes where I've blessed Sam, but that line of like, I'm not drinking the demon blood for kicks is like one that has particularly this watch stuck with me. Like Sam is genuinely trying to make the best of what feels like a curse that has just been given to him. And he says that he's trying to make something good out of this curse. And that is a lot of weight to have. And I want to bless him for that, even as the choices that he makes are not great ones this season. And a blessing for him because it seems like it's going to get worse before it gets better for Sam.
Yeah.
Well done. I'm going to go ahead and bless Bobby because he's such a wholesome ass dad and he does so much for his boys and I love him. And I hope his eye's okay from, getting knocked out. I hope he's doing great. Blessings to Bobby.
My blessing this week is for Dean because I feel like he probably one of the hardest things he's probably ever had to do in his life was to look at Sam and say that to him at the end of the episode because you know in his heart he doesn't mean it. He doesn't. He's just angry and sad and doesn't know what else to say. And even though he makes a lot of questionable choices in how he handles this whole situation with Sam, at the essence of it, he's doing it because he loves his brother more than anything in the fucking world. And it just breaks my heart, the things that he has to say and do this episode in his attempt to try to keep his brother human, as he says.
Yeah.
It's really hard on him. And I just want to give him a big hug, as per usual.
Yeah.
All right, before we end the episode, we have one last question. Starting with Noah, who do you want to watch going into next episode? Lucifer Rising is the episode, the finale.
Castiel has to be the one to watch because he's the most suspect motherfucker right now, and it all revolves around him right now. I don't want to watch Dean because he's just gonna make me sad. Don't want to watch Sam because he's just gonna make me bummed because he's struggling. Cass, he's the one I got hope for. Well, and
Okay.
Bobby, I love watching Bobby, but Cass, how about y'all?
Without getting into spoiler territory, it's really hard not to get into spoiler territory. I want to watch Ruby.
Oh, I was going to say Ruby. Yeah.
Where'd she go when she left? Assuming Sam's like, is she gonna meet up with Sam? What's happening?
Yeah, what's
I
up
wanna
with
watch
Ruby?
I want to watch Ruby next episode.
Okay.
I gotta admit, I love that we're split and that y'all are both interested in Ruby because I also am interested in Cass.
There we go.
I think he's got a lot of power going into this, and if I can recall back to when first watching this episode 84 years ago, I remember being very much like, what is it that Cass has in store for this boy? Because
Gotta be something.
gives himself over wholly to God and you guys. Questionable phrasing is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, apart from Ruby, that was my choice, but I'll go with my second choice. I always like watching Sam. My favorite. I'm always paying attention. A special extra attention to Sam. Yeah, but I just want to see things resolved and get better for him. Not that that necessarily is going to happen, but that's always my hope for him.
One day.
One day, maybe.
It's a long show.
It's a long show.
But speaking of long shows, we like to sort of signify the end of our seasons with a little recognition for our fans and the people that listen and catch up with us. So we're going to do another giveaway this year. Elayna, do you want to talk about that?
So for this giveaway, we're going to be opening this one up internationally, and we're going to be choosing 2 winners. One of the winners we're going to pick from Twitter, and one of them we're going to be choosing from our Discord server.
Ooh.
So if you're not in the Discord server, you should go join it and come see all of our cat pics that we post and episode discussions that we have, and enjoy all that and have an extra chance to win this giveaway, which we're going to be giving away a bunch of really cool custom stickers. Woo-hoo. Some that I'm going to design, some that August designed, and they're all going to be like printed and like handmade. And then I'll be sending those out to folks. So yeah, it'll just be like a really fun season 4/queering things sticker pack of shenanigans.
Yeah.
And awesome.
So look for
I'm really excited.
Look for the post. There will be a post on Twitter and a post on Discord, and that will have the full instructions on how to enter. So go to one or both of those platforms. You can enter on both. We will pick a winner on both. You can only win on one. So if we pick the same person twice, we will repick. But yeah, you can enter on both platforms. So
It's going to be so cute. I cannot wait for these stickers. We're going to be starting the giveaway once this episode comes out, and then it's going to run for the next 2 episodes. So through the finale, and then we'll announce the winner with our season recap.
So that is all we have for you today. Thank you so much for listening, and to all of my co-hosts, thank you as always.
Oh, it's such a blast.
Woohoo.
You can make sure you are subscribed to Saving People Queering Things wherever you listen to your podcasts. And especially as we're getting to the end of the season, we'd love if you would share our show with your friends if you enjoy it. Share the love.
Share the love. You can find links to all of our social media and join our Discord server through the website, which is queeringthingspodcast.com.
And if you are all caught up on Supernatural and want to go back to before the beginning, you can listen to August, occasionally me and our friends Beth and KJ over on our show Wayward Parents, where updates are at Wayward Parents on Twitter, and on Tumblr we're at Wayward Parents Pod.
Be sure to ride along with us next week as we discover the season 4 finale, Lucifer Rising, as we always discuss finales through the theme of free will.
Thank you all for coming along for the ride, and we wish you a peaceful road until we meet again.